Your paycheck clears on Friday and vanishes by Monday. One blown tire or a sudden medical bill wrecks the whole month. Walking a financial tightrope means a single misstep ruins everything. You keep telling yourself a bigger salary fixes the math. Crossing some imaginary earnings threshold will make the anxiety stop and the bank account grow. A magical income number exists in your head where the stress fades and wealth arrives on its own. That promise is a trap. The old advice tells you to keep your head down and follow the rules. Every store and bank wants you to spend faster than you earn. Billboards scream that you earned a treat. Credit cards offer instant approval. You have lived inside this machine your whole life without noticing the gears. Machiavelli identified this mistake centuries ago. He wrote that people fail because they misunderstand power. Missing chances has nothing to do with it. Money follows the same rule. A big salary gives you zero authority if you lack direction. Income is a number on a screen. Actual control is what keeps you safe. The trap closing around you has nothing to do with your pay grade. You feel stuck because you have no plan. Real wealth starts the second your habits shift, long before the deposit amount changes. I did not learn this from a textbook. I found it out the hard way. A few years back, I waited for a promotion to solve my problems. More cash meant more breathing room, or so I thought. The promotion arrived and the anxiety stayed put. My spending scaled right up with the new title. The stress stayed the same because my daily routines never changed. My situation only improved when I stopped pointing fingers at my employer and started auditing my own choices. Machiavelli stopped sounding like old history and started sounding like a survival guide. A defensive reaction right now means the illusion is cracking. John D. Rockefeller figured this out long before the oil billions. He started as a regular bookkeeper pulling a standard wage. Nothing about his early life screamed future tycoon. His very first check went through a strict filter. He paid himself first. Tight months and awkward conversations with creditors did not change the rule. The whole thing felt reckless at the time. He treated his older self as the most important bill to settle. The routine did not make him rich overnight. The habit handed him the one asset that matters most early on. Authority over his own life always precedes empire building. You probably do the reverse. Rent goes to the landlord first. The utility companies take their cut. Subscriptions for unused services drain the checking account. Convenience and temporary relief eat the rest of the balance. Saving only happens if a few dollars survive the monthly massacre. That approach is pure surrender. You end up reacting to the calendar. You forget to steer the ship. Machiavelli held zero respect for people who wait around. He knew luck only smiles on the prepared mind. Time to flip the script. You owe your landlord rent and decide to wait until next month. Pressure builds, consequences follow, urgency takes over, yet you treat your future self like a flexible suggestion. It becomes optional in your mind. Your future self is your most important creditor. Ignore that debt long enough and the collection process hurts far more than a simple late fee. Pay yourself first like you owe yourself money. People push back and claim they lack the income to save. That is an excuse, not logic. The amount misses the point. The habit matters. Say you earn 20 a month or even 20. Before paying bills, buying food, or funding entertainment, you move a small amount aside. Maybe 1,000, maybe 500. That money does not change your life today. You rewire your identity instead. You train your brain to accept a powerful truth. Building wealth becomes non-negotiable in your mind. You do not wait for perfect conditions. You build wealth precisely because things are imperfect. Real wealth starts with small, consistent discipline that feels meaningless at first. Luck and big wins have nothing to do with it. Warren Buffett grasped this concept early. Delivering newspapers as a teenager, he saved aggressively. He lacked huge money, but he understood habit. He once noted that your greatest investment is always yourself. Self-investment requires self-respect. You gain that respect by paying yourself first. That action signals your future matters more than your present comfort. Most people never make this shift. They promise to start saving, investing, and building discipline one day. Machiavelli lacked patience for people waiting for one day. He believed power belongs to those who act with limited resources. He especially valued those who act with limited resources. You build character by acting under pressure. That character sustains wealth long term. Once you start paying yourself first, a subtle change takes hold. You shift your mindset. Money stops being something that comes and goes. You begin to control it. This quiet shift separates those who eventually win from those who stay stuck forever. You stop waiting for life to improve. The system you build improves regardless of life. Pause for a second, forget your income for a moment. Consider how you treat yourself financially. You might be avoiding it, acting inconsistently, or only starting out. Assign 1 or 2 words to your current state in your mind. That awareness forms the first real step. You discover something else when digging deeper into quiet strategies, long-term control, and real leverage. The money you thought you lacked was leaking in slow, quiet ways you never questioned. Exposing those leaks is mandatory. Discipline alone cannot fix them. The moment you start paying yourself first, another shift occurs. You do not feel broke, but you feel tighter and more aware. A lot of people feel panic here. They assume the system is failing because money suddenly feels restricted. This restriction marks the turning point. Machiavelli would call this the moment of truth. Pressure exposes reality and illusions collapse during this moment. You soon realize the core issue. Your money has been leaving without your permission, rather than you failing to make enough. You open your banking app and wonder where all the funds went. Real confusion replaces casual jokes. The money seems to have vanished. You feel like a victim of theft, but you are not. Money does not vanish into thin air. Funds slip away in quiet, repeated, invisible ways. You fight something you refuse to look at until you track it. Machiavelli warned that the most dangerous threats are the ones you cannot see. The same rule applies to your finances. Strategy 2 requires tracking every dollar like it owes you back rent. Until that happens, you walk blindfolded. Your bank account might seem like the issue. You lack clarity. Thursday night rolls around and exhaustion hits after a long day. You promise yourself you will cook the next day. Opening an app to order something basic takes seconds. 300 for the food, 80 for the service fee, 60 for delivery, 40 for the tip. You drop 500 on a single dinner. Friday brings the same routine. Sunday gets worse with an added drink or dessert. None of these choices feel like real decisions. They feel automatic, like breathing. By the end of the month, you check your statement. 8,000, 10,000, more goes to delivery. The total feels shocking. The expectation was 2,000. That gap between your guess and the real total is where your wealth disappears. Food shares the blame. You buy 200 coffees, you pay for random subscriptions you forgot. Quick small purchases turn into 2,000 bills. None of these moments feel dangerous. That pattern forms the trap. Nobody takes your power in one giant swing. They take it through hundreds of small cuts. Wealthy families grasp this concept. During the rise of the Rothschild banking empire, the family tracked every transaction and every movement. Precision guided them. Knowing where their money went meant they knew where to redirect those funds. Awareness gives you leverage. Without that awareness, you negotiate with yourself from a position of weakness. Fancy systems are unnecessary. Any method works. The tool doesn't matter. You can pick an app, a spreadsheet, or your notes app. The act of tracking matters. Seeing your numbers forces an uncomfortable shift. You stop lying to yourself. Claiming you spend little becomes impossible. Claiming it happens once becomes impossible. Your story means nothing to the numbers. You see patterns in the numbers, and those patterns reveal your identity. Real discipline starts here. Discomfort drives it. Buying unused things in your 20s creates a heavy feeling. Wondering where years of income went in your 40s creates the same feeling. The realization stays the same. You aren't broke. Carelessness in unexamined habits is the real culprit. Once the pattern becomes visible, it stays visible. That clear sight is power. Machiavelli believed that understanding a situation forces you to act. Most people fail to reach that point. Reaching it pushes you into the next shift. Strategy 3 is living like you're broke, even when the bank account shows a surplus. You let ego ruin this step. The culture values looking rich over being free. People care more about flaunting wealth than building a foundation. Wealthy individuals hide in plain sight, looking average. Someone earning an average wage spends all their energy trying to look wealthy. You watch middle-class earners sit in the crossfire, bleeding cash to keep up appearances. You build a financial buffer by living below your means. That buffer provides choices. Those choices provide leverage. Machiavelli considered this positioning. You keep your strength hidden and build it in the dark. A 10-year-old car sits in the driveway. The driver carries zero debt and invests each month. That driver holds more power than the guy in the new luxury sedan. The second guy drowns in monthly payments while he waits on the next paycheck. Freedom belongs to the first driver. The second driver rents an image. You see this dynamic all the time. A software engineer makes decent money, keeps expenses low for 4 or 5 years, and stacks a solid investment portfolio. Meanwhile, a peer making double that salary upgrades the car, the house, and the whole lifestyle. Stress, dependence, and feeling stuck become their reality. Same world, different outcome. Your discipline builds that gap. You practice stealth living by keeping your expenses lower than your income allows. Leverage matters, so you accept the cheaper option. The crowd rushes to grab immediate rewards while you push them aside. Over time, the gap widens. The growth happens out of sight. Real wealth compounds in the background. You reach a limit with discipline alone. Machiavelli refused to settle for mere survival. Expansion was his goal. You start asking a better question once the financial leaks stop. The goal is growing without burning out. That question sets up the next move. You start strategy 4 by building quiet income. The 16-hour days and the 3-job grind belong to someone else. Sleep deprivation is desperation, not a strategy. You build systems that pay you while you focus on other things. The main goal is earning money without constant daily effort. You find quiet income boring at first. The boredom makes it work. You take on freelance work 1 day a week. Digital products sell on repeat after you build them once. Templates sell on repeat. You write a script once and license it to buyers. Undervalued items flip for a profit. The work stays highly effective because you keep it out of the spotlight. A friend built a basic digital product years ago. They leave the files alone today. The product still drops a few $100s into their account each month. You ignore the hype and the constant grinding. You build the balance through pure consistency. Months turn into years, and those small monthly deposits turn into serious capital. 10,000 extra dollars a month invested over a decade changes your life. The math compounds in the background. Your mindset shifts first. You stop seeing yourself as someone who relies entirely on a single paycheck. You stack options, layers, and backup plans. Real power feels stable instead of loud or flashy. Check your own budget for a minute. Money leaks somewhere in your daily routine. You plug that leak with a tiny new income stream. Pick 1 or 2 words to describe the new stream. That small step gives you margin and starts the quiet income engine. Margin brings a subtle new threat once extra money starts stacking up. You feel the urge to touch the cash and reward yourself early. Small tweaks to the system seem fine in the moment. Machiavelli figured this out centuries ago. He wrote that humans ruin themselves from the inside instead of falling to bad luck or outside forces. Your bank balance climbs, and temptation climbs right beside it. You tell yourself you earned a reward for staying disciplined. One small purchase turns into 2, then 5, then 10. Months of progress vanish. You slowly destroy your own progress without strict protection. Your next move holds the foundation. Strategy 5 focuses on putting your cash out of reach. Willpower runs out. A rigid setup holds strong. You might blame a lack of self-control. Missing friction causes the problem. Physical distance and hard barriers block those impulses. Cash sitting right in front of you slips away. A late night scrolling or a sudden urge to treat yourself drains the balance. Your best move involves opening a second account at a separate bank. You skip the debit card and delete the mobile app. A recurring transfer moves $500 or $1,000 over on payday. You pick a number you can sustain and let the system run. Hiding the funds keeps them safe. 12 months pass and the original deposit sits right where you left it. You build serious wealth on a normal salary this way. Removing the temptation does the heavy lifting. Raw intelligence takes a backseat. Modern apps push you to spend on the spot, and a single tap drains the checking account. Machiavelli understood the danger of relying on sheer willpower. He built structures that forced the desired outcome. Outsmarting the urge to spend beats a direct fight. Protecting the funds sets the stage for the next phase. Strategy 6 is investing. You put in $500 at a time. Years pass while you stall out here. You tell yourself you will begin once the bank account looks bigger. That day fails to arrive. Investing has nothing to do with the cash you hold today. You become the investor through the act itself. If you start today, you skip the waiting game. You make the move while the numbers look tiny and pointless. Warren Buffett bought his first stock as a kid. The dollar amount meant nothing to him. He viewed cash from a new angle after buying that share. Ownership separates staying stuck from building wealth. You focus on spending with a poor mindset. You focus on owning with a wealthy mindset. Spent cash disappears. Owned assets compound in the background. Waiting because $500 feels too small means you miss the point. $500 out, 0 returns expected. You train yourself with that cash. You build your identity through repetition. One day the deposit jumps to 5,000, then 50,000. By then you know the drill. Time in the market beats timing the market. You change your behavior over time. You determine the outcome through those habits. Machiavelli believed power grows through consistency rather than sudden bursts of effort. You follow that same rule when investing. You change the game with the next realization. Wealth is not income. Wealth is ownership. You step into a different game the moment you own a tiny slice of a growing asset. You look calm when you build wealth. Your money keeps working when you stop. Experiences drain your accounts. Leverage builds your wealth. That realization sets up the next level. You check a price tag and only ask if the monthly note fits your current paycheck. That emotional reaction keeps you broke. You require a different calculation to build intentional wealth. You add up the total drain on your bank account over 5 years. A single changed question alters your trajectory. Most months, rent, bills, groceries, and weekend plans eat your whole check. You stash whatever scraps remain into a savings account. That habit keeps you surviving on the edge. You flip the order to build actual wealth. Step 1 covers needs. Step 2 builds wealth. Wants only happen if cash sits left over. You prioritize your spending. The standard 50-30-20 rule gives you a baseline. 50% covers needs, 30% funds wants, and 20% goes to savings. That setup gets you moving. For real progress, you demand a harder split. 60% goes to needs, 30% to wealth, and 10% to wants. Now you play defense. 40,000 a year beats 150,000. Intentional choices beat reactive spending. You avoid a harsh reality about bankruptcy. Low wages do not empty your bank account. You go broke because you feel entitled to constant comfort. Future freedom outweighs present ease when you use rich math, and that trade always pays off. You still fail to protect yourself with this mindset alone. A financial system you never stop to question keeps you trapped. Strategy 8 means killing middle-class debt traps. The initial sting comes from how normal it all feels. Buy now, pay later plans, car loans, minimum credit card bills, endless subscriptions. None of it looks dangerous. That harmless feeling is why the trap works. You pay a 70,000 month car EMI for a vehicle you barely drive. A 0% EMI TV feels free while it trains you to finance everything else. Purchases turn into patterns. They condition you to live comfortably beyond your means. Financial systems do not profit when you hold wealth. They profit when you carry debt. Low monthly payments keep you dependent. Credit increases give the bank a longer leash. You feel access, but they hold control. Machiavelli would label it control. Once your lifestyle depends on those payments, walking away from your job becomes impossible. Walking away from pressure becomes impossible. Debt costs more than money. It costs freedom. Anything failing to pay you back remains a liability. Staying free beats looking rich. The person with zero EMIs, consistent investments, and a simple lifestyle wins while nobody notices. Winning without an audience makes it better. Take a pause right now. Pick one expense or one debt failing to serve you. Pick only one. That single piece of awareness alone starts the shift. Reducing debt and building ownership changes the entire dynamic. The need for validation drops away. Performing stops being necessary. You disappear. Real power begins right there. This brings us to the final phase. Strategy 9. You build stealth wealth. Most people assume money makes noise. Flashy cars, designer clothes, expensive trips. Those things just signal status. Signals pull eyes toward you. Eyes bring expectations. Expectations push you into stupid choices. Real money stays out of the spotlight. Machiavelli noted the safest position is the one nobody watches. You choose invisibility as a strategic shield. Keeping it quiet means your bank account is full, but your mouth is shut. The urge to show off vanishes. The lifestyle rat race loses its grip. Proving you made it becomes irrelevant. You move without drawing eyes while your net worth climbs. Imagine a millionaire. Delete that picture. In the real world, rich people blend in. They wear basic t-shirts. They drive regular sedans. They make zero noise. You could pass one on the sidewalk and never look twice. That invisibility is intentional. It gives you leverage. If nobody expects you to buy the round, you don't feel obligated to reach for your wallet. Performing for an audience stops. Old money figured this out long ago. Families kept their fortunes by shielding them. Being seen invites trouble. Silence protects your progress. This is the actual power move. You stop stressing over a $20,000 surprise bill. Your schedule belongs to you. Saying no becomes an option. Sleep comes easy when debt doesn't fund your life. That is the definition of rich. You trade the noise and the applause for silence, and silence costs a fortune. That leads us to the last step that locks this whole system in place. Strategy 10. Automate the whole process and drop it from your mind. Motivation dries up. Discipline slips. Your schedule fills up. Machiavelli refused to trust human consistency. He put his faith in systems. You construct a financial setup that ignores your daily mood. Transfers run on a rigid schedule. Investments pull funds on autopilot from your account. Bills clear on their own without a prompt. The machinery handles the chores without checking in. This saves you from the days when discipline vanishes. Automation lacks feelings. It only executes the commands you wrote. Wealth compounds in the background while you go about your normal day. You ignore the cash and the account balance climbs. Systems beat human willpower on every attempt. Manual saving fails over time. The automated setup keeps going month after month. Years slide by. Account balances climb. One afternoon you glance backward and spot the quiet shift. You never hustled your way out of scarcity. Your deliberate design secured your escape. Most folks miss this simple detail. A bigger paycheck is not the requirement for wealth. Better daily behavior, tighter systems, and strict control do the job. Hype builds nothing quiet or lasting. Quiet wealth grows from daily habits, patience, structure, and restraint. The crowd chases fast, flashy results. You build something permanent at a slow, silent, deliberate pace. A small starting income works in your favor. Strategy carries much more weight. Discipline packs a punch. Automation stops for nothing at all. You build the setup once. The system runs uninterrupted. Over the years, the calendar carries the heavy loads. In the background, silence protects the progress you made. Your current location stops mattering. The person taking shape needs your full attention. You pick one word to define this new version of yourself. That word becomes the identity you wear from today. Once you lock in that identity, everything else falls into place. A slight shift in your self-image means the work continues. The ideas we covered in this video scratch the surface. Psychology, influence, and wealth have deeper layers that a single video cannot cover. Those deeper layers exist. The majority of people lack the readiness to hear them. This unpreparedness keeps most people average. By the end of the video, most viewers will leave and forget. A small fraction stays and transforms. You choose your path. If you liked today's video, please help us by subscribing to the channel. Hit the like button and tell us what we can cover in the next video.